Welcome in, everybody. 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. Today is a special time for me. This is someone I have not yet gotten the chance to really sit down and talk with. We've been in each other's spheres, working together for a while in the background, but haven't really had the time to get one-on-one. So I'm really excited about that today. And the real reason we're doing this is I'm calling this the Being Social Spotlight. So over the next few weeks, today is August the 28th when this show goes live. So when that happens, we are less than 1 month from the Being Social event in Austin, Texas, September the 20th. It's going to be incredible. And that's part of why we brought Keith Turner on today from Dealer OMG. Keith, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. So, look, I mainly deal at your company with one David Lemon, all right? That's been my guy for, it's been about a decade now, working with my guy, David Lemon. And you and Andrew are the leadership team, if you will, top of the leadership team, founders. I'm so interested to understand, how did Dealer OMG come to be?
Well, Andrew and I actually met working at Facebook here in Austin, Texas, back in 2011. We were both on a team of local business consultants. Really, like, our primary task was to fire up local businesses. We all had different regions of the country, but to fire up local businesses to use this new Facebook product called Pages, right? This was back when Facebook was still a private company. I think they were, trying to figure out how to monetize that beast. And so we were just trying to activate businesses on the Pages product, get them posting, get them building up their fan base back in 2012, 2011. The big thing was building up your fans and your followers. Now we've kind of come to think of that as more of a vanity metric that's not really as important, especially since Facebook essentially put a chokehold on any and all organic reach. It's completely pay to play now. So that's what we did at Facebook. Got that front row education for all their different ad types that they had. Businesses were hungry, and coming from traditional media, I sold cable television advertising before that. Andrew did some billboard and radio sales. We understood kind of the marketing atmosphere, but seeing behind the scenes of Facebook, the amount of data that they had about their users, the rapid light speed growth that they were having, it was just really clear to us that this was going to be the next evolution of highly targeted advertising. I mean, they know who you are, where you've been, where you're going, who your friends are, who you hang out with. So, we really drank the Kool-Aid per se. And when we left there and started Dealer OMG in 2012, actually it was called 4Kicks Marketing back then, and we would service anybody that would let us help them with their Facebook and social advertising business. We did organic content, for tourism, local brick and mortar retail, bars, restaurants, like I said, anybody. But we had some early success with car dealerships, and we got some good advice from an agency mentor that we should niche out and pick an industry, become the thought leaders in that industry. And like I said, we'd had some success with automotive. And so we scored a couple of things. We scored automotive. We looked at elective medical. We looked at, legal services and whatnot. But since we had experience in automotive, we had success in automotive, we went that direction, rebranded as Dealer OMG, and never looked back. And so that's been, about a decade now that we've been in business, and about 6 or 7 years of working just in automotive. Automotive, when we chose it, one reason was because, historically they're late adopters to new technology, specifically advertising. I mean, in 2016, I think 17, whenever we rolled into automotive full time, they were still highly focused on newspaper ads, obviously television, billboards, and they were just starting to warm up to this new thing called paid search. But they were still skeptical. So we thought if we got in at the beginning of the wave and rode that sucker out, started going to the digital dealers and ADAs, all the conferences. Andrew Street, my partner, does a ton of speaking and educational seminars. So we just started trying to get on the circuit and make a name for ourselves, and that's what we've been doing, and that's what we're sticking with. So it's been a fun ride, and you'll hear it from everybody in automotive that once you're in automotive, you're in it for life. And I think that might be true.
That is the way it goes. You guys are, you are in a great niche, and I think whoever gave you that advice is probably similar. I mean, it's the same people I get advice from that were telling me basically like, look, do you want to be someone that is trying to accompany all these products to all these people, or do you want to be really badass at one thing that people will pay you a premium for, and you can continue to move your business that way, you know? And so that's what I love about working with you guys, is that straightforward sort of history that you guys already understand. Funny to think about the Facebook pages, right, being this like basic idea in 2010, 2011. Now like business pages are like this huge part, but then there's all the connection parts, right, Keith? Like all the headaches that come with dealing with Facebook. And so, you know, you guys have sort of helped people with that as well. You have, you know, your work that you do. It's still a big headache for dealers though, with the Facebook and the business pages and who started it and the ownership, right? I mean, it's not like that stuff's not going away, unfortunately.
Yeah, and they made it really tough a couple of years ago to get control of your Facebook page. And like you said, a lot of dealers don't know who started their Facebook page, and it's inevitably somebody that worked there years ago who's got, you know, the control of this page. You got to track them down. We have to petition Facebook to get control back. Yeah, it's been a nightmare that I've been through more than I like to remember.
It's crazy, dude. We don't actually own our Car Biz Done Better Facebook page.
Is that right?
Agency started for us a decade ago, and they're been since sold like 3 times. And so they don't have any record. They don't have any idea. And so we just sort of go about life in this like, yeah, okay, it's there. And if we had to be shut down, then fucking shut it down. Like, I don't really care, because I also realized, Keith, and I know you probably dealt with this too, is that because the fan follower number is so vanity driven, right, at the end of the day, you can really fake the shit out of it, right? For all intents and purposes, especially like 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, right? So when we started, we realized now the agency we had was blowing all the smoke up our ass. It got us a bunch of weird users. Like, we have all these followers. People always comment to me like, dude, your page, really impressive. I'm like, yeah, I get one fucking comment, bro, because no more people are real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, not a new thing, right?
No, that was really common back then too, to buy followers. And, you know, the truth always comes out in the engagement rates, right? You do a post and you've got, you know, 100,000 followers and fans, and you get 3 likes and, you know, a heart emoji or something. So yeah, that's just kind of funny to think back on. I'm hesitant to say this, but maybe I can help you get control of your Facebook page.
You know what, dude? Don't worry about it. You guys have no idea what's coming for you when I come to Austin. You guys have no. I'm gonna throw every fucking headache I have at you guys. It's gonna drive you crazy. Yeah, no. My wife and I have been waiting. Like I said to Dave Lemon, look, I'm not a Texas guy, right? I've never really. I've been there a few times. I'm a little. I don't know. I don't like guns. I don't fit it. All right, Keith. All right. That's the best way I can tell it to you, is I don't fit it. All right. But so Dave Lemon says, well, we're doing this in Austin. I said, well, you know, I love you guys because you're getting me out of my house, and you're getting me to go to Texas. However, I'm excited because I've never been to Austin. And I hear that Austin is very much like the town just west of me here in Madison, Wisconsin. I hear it's a, capital city. It's fairly diverse. It's got great food, great, hangouts, etc. So I'm excited, man. Have you been in Austin your whole life, Keith?
No. Actually, my wife and I moved here in 2010. So I've been here for, I guess, about 13 years last May.
And where'd you move from?
Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield, Missouri, dude. Is that where you grew up, or what's the history there?
Yeah, no, my family moved to Springfield area. I guess when I was about 14 years old. So I spent 14 through 28 there, and then I moved here when I was into Austin whenever I was 28 years old. So yeah, I would say I grew up in Missouri. So
that's good.
Born in Oklahoma.
I grew up in Chicago, and then my wife and I, we were dating. We moved to Colorado, and then in 2010, we moved here to Wisconsin for me to take a corporate job that sucked my will to live. But you learn, right? You learn what you like. You learn what works for you. And so coming from retail automotive, that part was cool because in retail, I worked 70 hours a week. I was never home. My wife we would do whatever we could to spend 10 minutes together. And then I worked in consulting for a corporation, and no one even knew you existed, right? So I went from this like having to be somewhere, do something for 70 hours to being like, nobody, like I can just sit at my house on my couch and I like have to be on a call or whatever. So but that's what I wanted to ask you, dude. As a business owner, there's a lot of the discussion right now, work from home, does it work? You're all pretty remote as a company, if I'm not mistaken. Is that still true today?
Yeah, we're 100% remote. And if you would have asked me, in February of 2020, if we would ever be a virtual company. I would have said, no way, the office kind of environment is too important, especially to an agency business, where we're trying to vibe off of each other, have creative ideas and whatnot. But, then the pandemic started. And so we're like, okay, everybody, grab your laptops and, your second monitors, whatever you need to take home. And I'm sure this will blow over. We'll be back in the office in a couple of weeks, and then never went back. And then then we were out for almost a year, and then that deep freeze hit Texas, that snowpocalypse thing, where like the whole state lost power for 8, 9, 10 days, and our office, the pipes burst, and it just destroyed our entire office. And so our landlord said, we'll let you out of the lease, we'll see you later. And by that point, we'd already been virtual for a year, and we'd figured out how to communicate efficiently throughout the day, and everybody was enjoying not having to drive in Austin traffic, and it was just working. So it's not to say that it doesn't come with challenges. Obviously, culture is something that you want to consider. And so, we do virtual happy hours and hang out virtually, which isn't the same. And it doesn't quite check the box, but in a way it does. And, we still have a good time. And it's just something that we kind of keep our eye on, and just try to be in touch with everybody. And we're a small team of about 16 people. So, thankfully it's not a huge task, but it's worked for us, and it still continues to work. And I hope that, we can kind of continue to evolve the way that we work together, and just, keep some level of culture. It's tough.
Yeah, I like the way you talk through that, though, because it's something that wasn't like immediate to you. And like you said, in February of 2020, you would have never even considered it to be a possibility. See, and we built our company virtual. It's just the way that it worked out with my business partner, the way it was. It was like, dude, you don't live where I live. You got a family, you got your home thing going on. So let's just do this whole thing. And then as we added people, we were just like, look, I'm also like, I hate expense, Keith. Like, I hate it. So the thought of like rent was just like, no, can't, don't, because then I'm going to want some office in some city that's going to have to be a certain way or present a certain way. And I don't want to do that either. So, because I have really expensive taste. And so I'm an asshole like that. So I don't need it. You know what I mean? I don't need the extra thing.
Yeah.
But the freeze, that was wild, dude. That was wild. I didn't realize how much I was putting an addition on my house during that time. And they were like, Sean, sorry, we're going to be delayed. A majority of the rubber is made in Texas, and all the rubber was gone. And I'm like, what are you talking? It's all gone. This deep freeze, everything, it screwed everything up. And he's like, I'm 6 months behind. I'm not going to have the fittings. And I'm just like, rubber in Texas is crazy, dude. So pipes burst. Do you think you would have gone back had you not? Like, had your office being remote for a year, were you guys still on the fence? Like, if the office would have been cool, what do you think? Would you have gone back?
No, I don't know. It's tough to say. I'm not sure we would have. And, one really cool thing about being virtual is that it's opened up, the opportunity to hire a lot more diverse group of people. We're not stuck trying to pick from a pool of, people in Austin, Texas, where it's extremely competitive with all the big tech companies, cost of living is high and whatnot. So, now we can advertise a position. I've got somebody that just started that lives in Maine right now. And obviously Dave's up in Ohio. We've got people all over it. It's because then you get to take a look at more candidates for each position and really find the right person that's, the right person to put in that seat. And it's great. It's been great.
I totally agree with you. The only way that I've done it is, so like we just expanded into our Carbon Social brand with Jeff Hunter. And Jeff Hunter, I had been stalking him like online for like years before this happened. And I told him the story. And so, but it was in Canada. And my wife's like, well, how's that going to work? I'm like, they don't have the internet? Like, who cares? What's the big deal? Like, that's not going to be that hard. And so we're going through this whole thing. And I had him on my show. Him and his wife came to Milwaukee. And I remember at the end of the show, I said, hey, there's going to be a day where you want to stop doing what you're doing. And when that day happens, just put me on the list of people you call. I'd appreciate if I was first, but I don't care. Just make sure that I'm on the list. And happened in 21. He called me and he's just like, look, the day has come. And I thought, holy shit, this is going to be possible. And he's like, yeah, but I'm in Canada. And that's where I was like, dude, we don't care. That's awesome. Like, stay in Canada, live your life. Like, and he was so relieved by the fact that that he couldn't even look into the opportunity because it didn't have anything relocating. And I think the same thing for Dave Lemon. I think that's how you guys end up with him as someone that I would hire at my company. But he doesn't have to live in Austin. He doesn't have to be next to us, which I think is pretty. it's pretty damn cool. So, Keith, look, man, you've been really gracious with your time. I do appreciate it. As we sort of bring this thing around a little bit, let's talk about the event. Let's talk about being social. I don't know if you know the story. I don't know. I don't know what people tell you, right? So when we were in Tampa for Digital Dealer, my first show in years, and I didn't want to do it, but I knew we'd started the new brand, and you had said it earlier, dude. Getting on the circuit is key, right? Even if you know it's a drag, even though you know going there might not work out for the best. If you want to promote something in the automotive space, you get on that circuit and you work it.
Right.
So I see Dave Lemon and Jeff Hunter doing a presentation together. Now, granted, we're in a room of 10, like 8 tables, 8 separate topics. Here's Dave Lemon, Jeff Hunter, holding court, Keith. Okay, like seriously, holding court. The rest of us had like 3 people at our table. Okay, there are people standing behind other people sitting at this table, and I remember looking over and texting my business partner, going, "We need to do this. We need to find a way to bring this to the space," because you mentioned earlier that it is a very much pay-to-play world on Facebook. But we're finding through being good at organic, which I think you and I can both agree, the reason it's easier to look past organic is because the majority of car dealers suck at it. Okay. So it's easy to say only good paid because the majority of you suck anyways. You might as well just write a check to overcome your suck. But we're noticing how much better an account can grow organically with that. So I think it's important to have both. But the event to me really is about educating people on both sides. When you think education, is that part of it for you when you think about putting 25 lucky dealers in a room to be able to talk to them? Is bringing that part of the education, is that important for you?
Absolutely. I really think that's what it's all about. And the big difference for me with planning and creating being social with you guys is that it is educational, and that it's not a big giant room with 100 people and you got people up on a stage. It's going to be much more intimate. Smaller sessions. We're going to actually field questions and solve dealerships problems one-on-one right there, and so we can all learn from each other. So it's going to be a different vibe than the bigger conferences like Digital Dealer and ADA. And it's just, hopefully we can walk out of there and everybody's going to have a pretty long list of wins that they can take back to the dealership and they can take action on, and they can actually start to make a difference, with some of the things that they learn at the event.
I think the actionable intel is the most important for me, right? As being someone who is going to be lucky enough to moderate and be a part of all of these discussions, I don't know if I should say this now or later, but I don't like social media, right, dude? So like, I'm not on Facebook. Like the only reason I have a Sean Welsh Facebook page is because my business required to have one, right, linked to me. So I did that shit and I'm up there, but you can tell no one pays attention because my birthday is like February of 71 or something. Like it's ridiculous, like this whole thing. And so I don't really use it except for LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there, but I don't use the rest of it. Are you a social user? Are you someone in your personal life? Obviously, you started working in the Facebook realm. I assume it's like prerequisite to be on Facebook. But what does that portion of Keith's life look like, personally speaking?
Yeah, I wish I was more like you, honestly, where I just had it but didn't use it. But it's kind of part of my morning routine. I'll wake up, I'll get my coffee going, and I'll read my news feed on my phone, like actual current events news. And then right before I go to brush my teeth and get dressed, I will scroll through Instagram for a few minutes, and that's about it. And maybe I'll hit it up in the evening when I'm just trying to unwind a little bit. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's definitely a part of my day, and I'd like to minimize it as much as possible, just because I've got 2 little boys that are 3 and 7. So, they need me. Obviously, want to be a good husband and dedicate my time and attention to them more than anything. But, I try to keep it healthy and limit it to some degree.
It's one of those things I think people, they talk a lot about, right? I think now there's all these different things about us being in our phones, and there's all these different things about social interaction and being in your phone. And it's just like, okay, all right, the phone's been around a long time. We all know how to use it. But I personally, dude, it's a conduit to business, right? So for me, so I get so much done on it. So I'm always on the damn thing. And you use it, but social media can be used for business. And I think that's what a lot of people forget, is that you can, especially for car dealers, man, you guys have an opportunity to do this to go out and engage a community. Keith, isn't Facebook by nature super localized? Like what's put in front of you, what's around you? Like, is that fair to say when you put up organically, like things will be seen and shared within general vicinities of businesses?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said earlier, they know who you are and where you are, and they know who you hang out with, and so they try to keep things in your feed, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, as relevant as possible, and that goes for geographically as well as your social circles and interests. So, and when I do use Facebook, I actually use it a lot for the groups. The things that I'm interested in. Like people that own the toys that I have. My boat or my side by side or hot rod Camaro or whatever hunting. And so that's more of what I consume on there, not so much, the memes and the nonsense political BS and all that. So I try to keep it, keep it just things I'm interested in. But yeah, whenever they start serving up content, it's relevant to your interest in your location. So whenever we meet up in Vegas here in a few months, we'll start seeing some Vegas stuff.
Yeah, right. Or in Austin, right? You'll be able to see, like for me, I'll be able to now, it'll be like, hey, look at what's going on here or where you are. Yeah, no, dude, that's crazy because I think a lot of people forget. I think people just think it's this, big, huge animal that just sort of puts out information to the internet. And it's yes, but it tends to localize it more. You said something interesting though with the groups. And this is something that Jeff Hunter has brought it to me recently. So we have a client that has asked us to sort of help them organically speaking, right? Jeff, for those who don't know, General Motors, Jeff Hunter has this like crazy cool relationship with General Motors. So he gets access to things that most people don't. And he gets invited to events before people do. So he was asked to sort of use some of that content for this dealer. And so we started doing it, and he started to get some good engagement by going to the groups. Going to the Silverado group and saying, hey, by the way, here's what we're doing with this dealership. Cool. And that's where things began to snowball. Is that something that will you go there for just, hey, shit's broken or advice? Like, anything specific, or is just like, hey, what is going on with the side-by-side community today? Did something new come out, something happen, etc.?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I'll go to the side-by-side group or the the GMC Sierra group that I'm in, and I'll look and see what kind of tires are people putting on their rides right now. Are they swapping out their head units, different nav systems, tires, wheels, suspensions? I mean, yeah, whatever advice, whatever problem, windshield. I mean, just anything that you want to know or you're curious about with any vehicle or boat or anything like that. Yeah, you can go there and just learn so much. And the groups are searchable, so you can just search for keyword like headlight or key fob or anything, and it'll take you straight to every time that topic has come up. So it's a great resource for learning about your toys, your vehicles, your interests, solving problems.
It seems like a great place for dealers organic content to educate and to not worry about trying to sell, extension, whatever came in. Do you think, or do you think that's as long as you're educating, not selling?
People have so many questions about their cars, and modern vehicles are so complex. You just can't work on them yourself like you used to. Like I've got a 68 Camaro that I could tear apart and rebuild if I had to, because it's just so simple. But I try not to even pop the hood on my 2021 GMC truck, because I what the hell's going on in there.
That's a lot of old mechanics have always said to me. It's like a computer in there. It's not a car anymore. So like you said 68, is that what you said?
Yeah, 68 Camaro. My dad and I built it whenever I was a teenager. It was my first car, so I got to learn the ins and outs of those old hot rods, and it was cool.
Wow,
really cool experience, and I still have the car today. So
that's awesome. And I assume something you're looking forward to doing with your sons. Is that the case there?
Yeah, I mean, they're already showing a little bit of interest in classic trucks, and every time we see an older vehicle on the street, they're both like old school car, old school truck, and
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so awesome. I've got my eye on that. But I had a good example, in the Yamaha group that I follow and I engage with. It's a jet boat. Yamahas are generally jet boats, at least the class that I have. And there's a company in there called Jet Boat Pilot, and he is so engaged in the group. Like any question anybody has, I mean, he's just an expert at everything with these boats, and he has a company, Jet Boat Pilot. And people just adore this guy because he's so helpful. His company, their customer service is great, but he puts kind of servicing the group and helping people with their problems and questions, and that facilitates and turns into business for him, because that's where people know him, and then they're going to go to his website, they're going to buy his marine mat products, all of his accessories. But he doesn't sell, though. He's just there to help, and
Yeah.
that's a great example of how you can really work those group relationships.
And I think that's a great example of how you can use social media. Okay, period. Like, that's all I've ever done. You're probably one of the first guests, Keith, to come on here, and it's maybe because we have a little history behind the scenes to come on here, and then the pre-show not ask me what it is my company does, because I don't publicize it. I don't put out ads. I don't talk about it on LinkedIn. I don't do that shit. Because I want to educate and help people. So when I first got on LinkedIn, which was a long time coming, because like my business partner and my wife for the longest time, they were like, look, dude, we don't want you on there. Like, you're a problem. Like, seriously, we don't. And then it turned into this whole thing. It was like, wait, maybe we could make a scene. Maybe he could make a scene, get attention, and it wouldn't be so bad. And so then they let me go on. Not let me, they kind of forced me. And so we started doing the LinkedIn thing, and it was just about answering and educating. And I mean, I post 3 times a week religiously: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Always, never miss. I comment probably 3,000 times a week and engage community, because I think that's what's really lost about social media. Is the point is to engage community, to bring people together. So that's what I'm excited about for being social, man. So I wanted to thank you for not only being on the show today, which is awesome to get to know you and hear your story, but thank you for agreeing to do this together, and being a part of something that we hope is not just a one-time event. I mean, at least I hope this is something we can continue to do and bring to people and continue to push the envelope on social. So as we wrap it up, anything you want to leave folks with, either about the event or any advice, you would give on social here? This is your time.
Oh gosh, advice on social. Yeah, I think you're right. You said earlier that organic is an important piece of the puzzle, and I think you're 100% correct there. Doing it correctly, doing it effectively is another thing. We used to try to educate people on how to come up with content, because everybody was always racking their brain, like, what should I do next? What should I do next? And they just overcomplicate it at the end of the day. And it doesn't have to be rocket science. I mean, every day you're in business, there's 100 different opportunities to post something. And
like your cardio, man. Like, it's just fraud. It's everywhere. It's crazy. I don't know how you don't understand. Like, if you sell 100 cars a month, boom, we're done. Like, you have everything you need in a given month.
Yeah, and not every post is going to be a home run. Like, don't expect to go viral, but post about your business, post about your customers, your employees, your community, the things that you support there, charities, businesses, a pet drive. I mean, I could think of a million things just off the top of my head. But then when it comes to the paid side, obviously that's where you want to get your vehicles, your service offerings, and all that stuff in front of your next customer. And so that's where we can come in and we can help build audiences and really drive specific messages to specific groups and kind of bring it all together in full circle and help businesses have an effective social strategy. The event's going to be awesome too. We've got some folks from Ad Taxi, Kelsey, and my monitor just went off here. Andrew.
Yep. I forget Andrew's last name. It's with a W though. I'm bad with names, better with faces.
And they have a cool product that will take your organic posts and turn them into something that's paid and presented on other websites and other places around there. But we got the head of TikTok coming down, the former head of automotive with Facebook. But yeah, I encourage everybody to go check it out, beingsocialauto.com. The event's at the end of September. It's at a great little hotel just west of Austin in the Hill Country, Hotel Beata. But it's going to be a fun event. It's one day, so hopefully a lot of your listeners can make it down and extend the trip a couple of days. Enjoy Austin. Go out there and try some of that fantastic food, the entertainment that we have, and just make it a good time. And really looking forward to the event, though. I think it's going to be huge. And like you said, hopefully we knock this one out of the park and we can start planning the next one. We're already talking about destinations, but let's get through this one first, right?
That's always got to do the first one first. Well, man, thank you so much, everybody. As Keith said, beingsocialauto.com, September 20th, Austin, Texas. For those of you wondering, I'm getting in early, so I'm going to be in there like the 18th. I'm going to be checking out Austin on the front end, kind of getting a vibe for the place, and I'm stoked. I'm excited to do it. And Keith, thanks again for the opportunity to talk with you today. But again, man, for partnering with us on the show and doing this together is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you to AdTaxi as well for partnering up. So it's kind of a three-headed monster coming at you. We'll be announcing sponsors coming up as well. We only had 3 spots, and last I checked, I think they're full. So we'll start telling people all about that coming up, man. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. And next week on the show, I'm going to try and bring you a used car. I think dude's a genius. We're going to see what everybody else thinks, though. See if I agree. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week.
All right. Bye, guys.